Look what just came in the mail. We got these new UFC gloves that we're gonna start using, and the old one. Let's do a quick comparison. These are the new ones. I just got these in the mail. UFC sent them out to all the fighters to see how they like them so far. You know what I mean? Test them out before we actually had to fight in them. Also, came with a letter. So, let me give it a quick read real quick. Fighter, we are excited to share with you the new UFC Authentic Glove. Dana introduced the new glove in Las Vegas on April 12, 2024. The UFC will begin using these gloves for all fights moving forward starting this summer. Information about the changes incorporated into the new gloves is enclosed along with a new pair of gloves for your use and training ahead of your first event using the gloves. Boom. First thing, at first glance, when I take a look at this glove, it looks just the same, right? If you look at the old glove, don't mind the tape. I keep the tape on it from the fight. That way I don't scratch my training partners when I train them. 4 ounces, thin, you know, not, but there's a decent amount of padding, you know what I mean? So it's not horrible, but these are great gloves. These is what I've been accustomed to using my entire career. Now, at first glance, they look the same. This is the new one. First thing that I notice personally when I look at it is that there's padding here. On the old glove, this is just straight up leather. So if you do block a kick or you do get hit here, you kind of can feel it, can cut through that part right there. But here, what they've done, they've added a little bit of padding, a little bit more protection, which I do like. My favorite thing so far about it is the way it straps around your hands, around your wrists. Typically, I put my gloves on with my hand wraps. Me personally, I wear a large. I like a tight fit. It feels just harder when I make a fist. It feels like I'm cracking somebody with a blunt object rather than just a fist, you know what I mean? If you look at the way it straps on, this is how it was, this is the old glove. It had 2 pieces on the front here. One come across like so, and the other one come across that way. And then there's one big one that wraps around both of those small straps like this. And this is how the glove would look, all right? And it's a little wider at the top, flexible. With my hand wraps in, it's like a lot more tighter, you know what I mean, a lot more dense, but you can see there's no padding here. Also, no thumb protection at all, just wraps, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the glove. But if you look at the new glove, I do notice a few things. Things that I do like and things that I don't like off rip. I'm sure I'll get used to it as I break them in. And keep in mind that these gloves are worn in and broken in. Before you get your gloves, they break them in. They're all stiff and because it's new leather, you know what I'm saying? So what they got to do is they got to bend them in and break them in, and they fold them up and just to break the glove in so it's more malleable and movable in your hand, flexible to use when you've got them on. So when they bring them to you, they're broken in and balled up. These are not broken in, not balled up. These are fresh, but they still feel loose. The other thing that I noticed is that the padding is a lot softer than the padding on that one. So I think these are slightly lighter gloves. I think that maybe we will see more knockouts. I'm not mad at them. I like them, but the leather is pretty soft here. So let me go ahead and put them on. And when I put them on, a couple things that I noticed. First thing, right before I even strap it up or nothing, right? The finger holes are mad tight. I'm trying to get my hand through here. Super tight, you know what I mean? Pause, but crazy. Which is fine, I'm not mad at. The main thing about gloves that everyone wants to talk about is like, how does this help us prevent fighters being poked in the eye? You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, bro, that ain't never gonna change. This is MMA gloves. This is just a part of the game. This is something we fight with our hands open. We can't fight like this. Contrary to popular belief, people who don't fight, fans, let me tell you something. There's no way I'm fighting like this. It's just not happening. No fighter can fight like this because you're balled up, your arms are tense, there's tension in your back. You have to fight with your hands open in an MMA fight so you can parry punches and catch and grab, so our hands are gonna be open. People getting poked in the eyes are gonna happen inadvertently. Most of the time it's not on purpose, so it is what it is. But anyway, back to the glove, right? My favorite part about it though is this. The way that the strap around the wrist goes. There's a hole here, you put it through the hole, you pull, right? And when you pull, you bring it all the way around this way, and this one, there's another side that you could pull in the opposite direction. So you pull this on this way, and you pull this one the other way, and it's nice and snug. And it's a little longer down on my wrist. The other one was a little short and harder to pull, especially when I had my hand wraps on. I used to have my coaches kind of pull together to kind of get it to be cohesive and nice and tight. But this one here is very easy. You can do it by yourself, you know what I mean? So I really like that. That's pretty smooth for me. Also, I mentioned the padding here. I feel the padding on the top of the fingers are really good. They're a little thicker. The knuckle area is a little thinner. And it feels like a different type of pattern in there. Another thing that I did notice, check this out. You see how much that comes off from my fingers? You know what I'm saying? These come off really far from my outer knuckles here, right? They just, so I do think that that can cause a little bit more cuts for grazing shots. Like if you're out far and you throw a hook like that way, coming around and you don't turn your knuckles down, and you kind of throw one of these. I think that this could kind of scrape you, just the leather itself, scrape your face. Leather can catch people in the eyes, cut them. So I'm thinking about that. I'm keeping an eye on that. But yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed as a con. You know what I mean? But besides that, everything else, the pros seem pretty good. I haven't trained in them yet, but they look good visually. They feel good. I do feel like maybe it will result in more knockouts because the glove is a little lighter. But I mean, what's 4 ounces to 3 ounces? All the information about the gloves are in here. I'm gonna read up on them some more. At first glance and a first fit, I like them. I ain't mad at them. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna train with them for a little bit. And if you got any questions about them, feel free to comment below. And do you think that these gloves are gonna help prevent more eye pokes? I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna stop any eye pokes. But I just think it's refreshing to have a new pair of gloves. You know what I mean? But yeah, tell me what you think about these new gloves.